Hello and welcome. It is Sunday, it is afternoon, and that means it's time for Morgan's lazy Sunday afternoon productivity stream, where sometimes we're productive and sometimes we just eat snacks. Not that you can't eat snacks and be productive, because I know my productivity goes up tremendously when I'm snacking. But
Ah,
and with me, I have the one, the only Sako Tumi. Say hi to the nice people.
hello to the nice people.
Oh, so what are you working on today? How have you been? You've been doing all the belly dance stuff.
Belly
Oh,
dancing and photographing, and today was my day off. Today I took it easy and I was like, I'll do my laundry. And I thought Kibby had done some of my laundry for me, but she hadn't. And I put away dirty laundry.
oh
And there's enough of it that I don't.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
I've,
might
I've
just
never done
launder
that with
everything.
laundry, but I've definitely done that with dishes. Where like where
Oh,
like, somebody put one or two or sorry, where you're using the clean dishes out of the dishwasher and then somebody puts like two or three dirty
two
ones in.
dirty ones in, yeah.
Or vice versa, and you think they're clean because like four of them in there are clean,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you get halfway done and you're like, this is definitely not clean.
This is definitely not clean.
Yeah,
Were they all dirty or was it?
the struggle is real, and you don't know, and then you're like, which ones did I put away? Oh dear goodness, it's yeah, stressful. Never done it with laundry though, so that's a new one. So are you just hanging out? Are you working on a project? Are you bullet
I
journaling?
think I'm mostly hanging out,
Yeah.
but I'm getting ready for the new moon, which will be at like 6:30.
Oh, yep. Okay.
So I'm putting sigils on my person so that I can take them off in the bath.
Gotcha. Okay. I was about to say, is this a new tat? But if you're putting
Yeah,
sigils on to
I'm
be
putting
removed.
sigil. It's body paint, but
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Because, I mean, just because we haven't hung out in a bit doesn't mean,
it doesn't mean I couldn't have gotten the tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Although, I mean, it would have healed really well. I mean, there was no red or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, cricket, cricket.
oh. So I went to fair yesterday and I saw Doc there. Uh,
Oh,
he
he was busy as AF, huh?
Yeah, he had a booth right outside Page by Page, the bookstore at the Maryland Renaissance Festival.
Right.
And yeah, so he was like, yeah, I'll totally be ready for the stream tomorrow. I'm just here Saturday. And,
And but
and
he
then he
talked himself out. Yeah.
uh, and then he realized maybe that was a lot for one weekend.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to be here next weekend. I'm planning to be here next weekend.
I,
I
however, don't think I'll be
Okay.
home in time.
Yeah. I have a convention next weekend. I will be at ChessieCon. And I get to talk about some of my favorite things. Um,
Yay.
I will be, let's see, what am I talking about? Oh, I was just looking at it. Where'd it go? Okay. I will be talking about grammar and pedantry.
Oh.
What are grammar, what riles us up about grammar and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be talking about social media platforms for writers. I'm going to be talking about, um, why can't I remember this stuff off the top of my head? I don't know. I'll tell you later
Oh, okay.
when I'm actually paying attention to it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's gonna be a really fun weekend. But all four of my panels are at 11:30 and 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So I should be free by 3:30, and I can bounce home because it's just up in Silver Spring. So
Oh, I got you. I'll
yeah,
be coming back from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Ooh, that's a little more of a hike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are
So
you carpooling?
No, I'm not. I'm just
Ooh,
I'm driving.
that's a lot solo.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, in the comments, we have Ward. Hello and welcome. And we have Debbie Renow. Are you new? Have you been before? If you're returning, I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. If not, I love newcomers. I love returning people.
Debbie is a very loyal Flipside
Awesome.
member.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I like people. Otherwise, I wouldn't live stream.
She's a comic artist.
Ooh, nice.
Like a web comic artist.
We know that Morgan has an addiction problem.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering webcomic addict. I'm down to, I think, about 45 a week from a high of 120. But I'm, yeah.
120 is a bit much.
I mean, not all of them were like weekdays. Some were like every other week or something like that. Some were monthly. I think there were 7 in the rarely and or I'm not sure if they've stopped updating because I separated them out by tabs. Yeah, I grouped all of my links, shortcuts. So because, yeah, I like to organize those things. And I knew, at least when I was on the height of my addiction, that they, people got, money from views, page views.
Oh.
Some people did, like based on advertising views.
Oh.
Where if you used a feed or something like that, they wouldn't get the revenue. And so I would open all in tabs and go from there. And so.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
A million
I'm not
tabs.
wrong. Debbie hasn't been to the stream before. So
yeah.
I try to remember. I try really hard, but I am mortal and I was napping. So. But so I know what you're working on today. What are the people hanging out with us? What are y'all working on today? For me, I am reworking the opening to my Second World Fantasy. It's the one I've been querying for like 2 years now, with some breaks, with some definite breaks. But I think trigger warnings. There was a, oh my God, my life is over, panicked attempted suicide on page 3 that I have now moved to page 18 that I think might be a better pacing and maybe less
slap in the face.
Yeah.
Club them over the head with it.
Yeah. Let's let the panic grow instead of start off with the extreme and then try the other options. So I need a new opening line. And I switched up the scene and I need to do a little more adjustment, but I did most of the switching of order of operations. I managed to keep, I think, 95% of the words I had. I just needed a couple transitions and a couple tweaks just to switch around the order.
Right.
And I think it works. I'm still not sure if I should start off with the inciting incident on page 1, but we'll see.
You could.
Yeah. So I'm going to see if it works. And if not, I can always add stuff before it. So Debbie is going to be working on a comic script. So that's awesome. Is Debbie's avatar
an example of her art? Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
It's the main character in her story.
Cool. Yeah. So many people, there's a lot of types of art that work for avatars and a lot of types that are too detailed to work well for, in that small little bubble.
Yeah.
And so that's a good one. Okay. And Ward is working on the last few chapters of Cards on the Table. So Why don't we go ahead and have a productivity sprint then?
Yes, let us.
So I'm just going to share my timer real quick. And let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and for more laundry because I have teens.
Yeah.
You could just like burn all the clothes and tell them to wrap a sheet and roll. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, boom. No. No.
Ow!
No. I'm fine. Sorry about that. Someone decided they needed more attention.
Boy, howdy, scared the piss out of me.
Oh, he leapt and clawed on my head. I was pretty startled myself.
Yeah, you were.
So I'm okay. I just mostly sprayed him down. Although the spritz wasn't really working, so he just kind of ran from the noise.
Oh, I got you.
So how are you?
I am doing. I kind of botched a spread in my bullet journal, so I'm trying again in hopes that I can get it right the first time.
Second time. And this is why I don't do bullet journals, because they stress
No,
me out too much.
it's really the same, like, grid and stuff. Like, it's pretty regimented.
Right.
And I'm slightly intoxicated, so
Yeah,
I miscounted some things.
I get that. So,
I want to do it. I want to do it where I don't have to use a pencil first.
yeah,
I'm trying to skip steps.
and this is why I like Trello. It's like I can do all my timing and stuff, and if I change my mind, I can click and drag the order and change the dates and stuff.
Yes, you can.
So,
But I would have to be like, changed to my computer for that to work for me. I'd rather
yeah,
have a book chained to me than a computer.
it's an app that I can bring up on my phone
Oh, I see.
as well. Yeah, I usually don't use the app, but it's like when I sit down to work on stuff, I'm like, what was I working on again? And then I'll bring it up and see where it was. So, uh, Bonnie swung by. Hello and welcome. Um, MM Ward said, "Bad feline overlord," or is it feline demon lord?
Yes.
So, Debbie was super productive. Got through 13 panels of editing with only minor changes. So that's awesome. I did get through 7 pages, just rereading this opening to see how the flow is now that I've switched things around. So yeah, I'm not hating it. I don't know if I love it yet, but I might be too close to really judge.
I got you.
So yeah. And I mentioned that I'm now opening with the inciting incident, but before the inciting incident was on page 3, so it's not like I really switched up the scene, the chapter that much. So yeah. Although I guess it depends if the inciting incident is what triggers or her response to the trigger. I think they're both part of the inciting incident, but I could be wrong.
Huh. So you have kind of a hazy line where your inciting incident happens.
Well, I mean, she finds out she's marked as an enemy of her goddess, and then she decides what she's going to do about it.
Ah.
So
I just screwed up again. Screwed up again.
set it all on fire, escaping the confusion.
But I really like this one.
I'm sorry.
It's so pretty.
Oh, it is.
It's suede.
Yeah, schmancy.
It is
So
schmancy.
schmancy.
It is very schmancy.
Bonnie was saying that she spent the weekend at Flower City Comic Book Con with a bunch of great writers and artists. That's awesome. And Jennifer Brown is here. And I think she was hearing.
I think it's me.
Yeah. I don't hear it now. I was hearing it, but now it's gone.
Yeah, because it's over and it's like, why don't you click on this thing in order to watch it?
Yeah. That happens to me all the time.
Sorry.
Nope, do it. So yeah, I'm making progress and I'm pretty happy about it. Sounds like I'm not the only one, although we're 1 week away from Preptober. So I'm excited about my new story, but I'm also excited about the one that's out with the betas right now, and I'm excited about the one that I'm reworking right now. And um,
3 books.
there's
Three
only
books.
well, this is the one I've been querying for ages, and so I'm just reworking the end opening to see if it has better appeal with a different opening. So
I gotcha.
I'm not reworking the whole thing. I'm just reworking the order of operations for this opening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still the same story, just a escalation of panic instead of a, well, that didn't work. What about this? So what about another sprint?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Let's add it to the thing. Let's reset that timer. Let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And I'm back. Sako had to duck out. She's getting ready for a new moon ceremony this evening. So it's just me, and I've been eating chocolate because snack powered writer right here. So how was your sprint? Let me know. Before the stream today, I hit Target because I had a prescription to pick up. But you know what else I got? Because I am a person who has a little flexibility in their budget and I'm an adult and I can make choices. I got this beautiful set of flowers. Aren't they pretty? Aren't they looking right at you? So, yeah, I'm ready for the spooky season. Spooky season. And I have a kitty who gets really bored with the same old toys day in and day out. So I got these. And they've got catnip in them and they're adorable and I think he's going to love them. And I got myself chocolate because adult. So, hello, Greg swung by. Good to see you. Hello, Patrick. You just missed Sako if you were here earlier. Greg thinks it's only slightly creepy, so that's about where I was going for. So that's good. Ward made some tea, got Pop Tarts, and started rereading a scene where it happened to, well, I don't want to repeat it too verbatim. Debbie got through 16 panels with some minor edits. That's awesome. It's always worrisome when you get to the point where it needs more than minor edits. And Greg asked about the human catnip. Catechist does try to eat me. Since you just joined in, you missed the part where he leapt on my head and I screamed at him and chased him down with water. Sorry for upsetting everyone's sprint. It startled me, so I shared the startlement. Sorry about that. So yeah, that sprint, let's see, how much did I get done? I got 2 pages. I got a little distracted. I mean, Catechist did ask to go out into the garage to play. He does that by tapping on the door to the sunroom, because if he taps on the door to the sunroom, sometimes I used to open the sunroom door and he's just determined that that glass means open door, mama. Some door, any door, doesn't matter. So, oh, okay. Greg meant that chocolate was the human catnip. I could see that. Definitely. So, yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon. I am super relieved. I managed to get home from all my errands less than 5 minutes before the skies completely opened up. And it made me very relieved that I chose to go to fair yesterday and not today. Because if I hadn't found cover, I might have been drenched. And then that would have made me, I think, more likely to want to just go home early, really. So that's, how things go. So, who else is planning on doing NaNoWriMo this year? Let me know in the comments. I'm super excited about my suburban fantasy set in the town I live in right now. So that was pretty cool. So obviously I will be talking about that a lot in October as we gear up and get ready. But, if I hear back from my betas, maybe I'll be doing a speed edit on my space fantasy. Who knows? One of my beta readers said the prettiest things to me last week about my story. Such pretty things. Let me see if I can share it. Haha. Scroll. So I was talking with her and she finished reading it and she said the worst part about reading is that she had to be awake enough to actually respond and be able to critique stuff. and so she couldn't read it in 2 days like she wanted to. And let's see. She said, I absolutely loved your voice for it and adored your writing style. The characters are brilliant, the plot is a delight, and the world building fantastic. Oh, does anybody else collect the pretty things people say about their writing? Because I do. I definitely do. It helps me when the writing is not going so well, or when I'm digging through piles and piles of rejection letters, which is never my favorite. So yeah. But I've heard back from 3 of my 5 beta readers. One of them commented on the post where I shared the pretty comment and said that she totally agreed and she was 70% through the story. So super exciting. uh, yes, Ward says that's awesome. Print it and frame it. Yeah, I was like, hey, can I quote you? Do you want me to like attribute? Because that was so pretty. So popping back up in the comments, Greg says that he thinks that half of his social circle was at fair yesterday, but he skipped it. Yeah, I decided on Tuesday. For those not local, the Maryland Renaissance Festival is capping how many people can go in. And because of that, you have to pre-order your tickets, and they were sold out by like Thursday, definitely by Friday. So you have to decide in advance. And I decided on Tuesday when the weather for Saturday looked great, and I was finally over COVID as of Tuesday morning. Ugh, it was not my favorite. And now I have a cold, so yay. Normal cold though. Yay. Ward is also doing Nano and has the world building done for 3 different books, and now she has to choose which one to do. Oh, the struggle is so real. I think one of the things I really want to work on is, because it's an urban fantasy, I feel like urban fantasies need to be episodic and serial, and I want to figure out the backstory that is going to be slowly growing across all the books, because I went to a panel with Shannon McGuire and Mary K. Robinette, and they were talking about sustainable series, and they were talking about how even if you're not a huge plotter, having some level of a background thread that carries throughout all the stories that isn't maybe relevant to the goal you're trying to accomplish in that book, but is, relevant to the main characters' lives, can be really helpful for getting readers to want to read more. And she said you can only do a cliffhanger once every 3 to 4 books. The longer the series is, the more you have to spread out those cliffhangers. So, which, as I love her writing, seems to work for me, except for those times when I read the cliffhanger books and I have to wait a year for the next one, which is not my favorite. But luckily, I subscribe to her Patreon and I get short stories to like whet my appetite. So Ward says, I have too many story seeds for my writing time allotments. I hear you. Oh my gosh, the struggle is so real. I obviously am dealing with reworking my opening chapter for my second world fantasy and planning for NaNoWriMo and hoping to hear back from all my betas for my space fantasy so I can get that one out there. And I've threw together some poetry for writers open mic night that's local, and so many like things I'm juggling. It's hard to keep track, but I'm excited for all the different stories and all the different characters. And I admit it ebbs and flows. Sometimes, I'm like, that is done. That's in the done category, or we're on a break until it gets to the next time for the next stage. Like when I sent it off to my beta readers, I was like, okay, I'm good. The one I've been querying, I'm like, it was in a finished state. I'm not going to mess with it, because part of the reason I'm still querying it is I had a really bad habit of getting 10 rejections and then revising the entire manuscript. And I'm trying to get away from that knee jerk reaction of, you don't want it, but I can make it better, I promise. Which I think a lot of writers fall into. I might not be that, oh, it must be perfect before I'll share it. I've been working on it for 10 years. But I'm coming up at the 10-year mark soon. And obviously it's not the only thing I've been working on, but it's still my baby and I want to find a home for it. And maybe it's time to go small press, maybe it's time to go indie, maybe the market just isn't looking for it right now and they might be looking for it in 5 years. So it's always a gamble. I think that's the biggest thing I learned from the Penguin Random House and Simon and Schuster trial, is that they invest a lot of money and it only pans out like 10% of the time. The rest of the time, they never get their investment back. And so, even the professionals, it's a gamble. You never know what's going to hit right. It's like trying to go viral. And I guess booksellers have been in the industry long enough, they recognize some things have a better chance of going viral, but it's got to hit at the right time and the right people have to, review it or whatever. So it's craft, it's good timing, and it's, a lot of luck to get success. So yeah, it is what it is. Well, thank you for listening to me ramble about myself for 10 minutes. What do you say about another sprint? Do we want to get a little more productivity done? Eat a little more chocolate? I mean, obviously, I don't even know if that was a question. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And 3, 2, 1. Productivity. No. Hello. Welcome back. Wrong mouse. Okay. Hi. So, Catechist says hi, and that I should be paying attention to him. And he is, in fact, wrong, but you know, we do what we can. So, how was your sprint? That's still the wrong mouse. Okay. There we go. So I got a couple pages done and I reached out to my final beta reader I hadn't heard from, and he just started this week. And he wants to talk about the story and ask questions and give me feedback. And I'm like, you're 5% in? I was just checking to see if you had time or if you needed to bow out. But instead, we've been discussing it and he's been giving feedback. So I try not to bias. I've been avoiding the rest of the feedback while awaiting. So that was my sprint until somebody decided to come be a punk. Okay, there we go. Punkless. So how was your sprint? Oh, so the bottle of discipline says nope. Catechist flips the ear. Whatevs, human. He's gonna go sulk now because he's a cat. And that's how he rolls. So, but yes, how was your sprint? Were you productive? Did you chat with a beta reader about how it's coming along? Whatever. So yeah. I am contemplating things and stuff and what I'm doing next with my story, and I think I'm getting hungry for dinner. So yeah. Let me reply to my beta reader real quick. I think the only way. Okay. I figured out the point he was trying to make. So we're there. Okay. Let's see. For Ward, 336 words, I think, created. A man confessing to his grandfather that he's cursed against having love and why he deserves it. Always true. Always true. Debbie switched from editing to plotting a different project. And Patrick says he knows what he needs to do to his first pages. He needs to add details like nouns to make them ready for an agent. And he realized how he has to fix his third chapter. Saturate details, don't pile them on. Yeah, filter them in, just let them percolate. It's always fun. Yeah. If you only use verbs, you end up with the white room syndrome where you don't know what anything looks like or what anything, is in the space around you. Patrick has a love of verbs and a disdain for all other parts of speech that I'm trying to woo him away from, etc. So, oh my goodness. Where is my punk? Okay. Just making sure he wasn't preparing for another pounce. Thank you for your patience with my startled shrieks at my cat. So now you know how Morgan reacts when startled. And I got the spray bottle actually spraying a little better, but I would have thought I could spritz and not just spray. So that's the lock. That's the unlock. Maybe my spray bottle is just too cheap. I think it was like $3 for a 2-pack. So that's what you get. I actually got the 2-pack when I moved into the house because um, my front door has a glass panel next to it that's narrow, but also glass. And so I put a film on it so it's not so see through. It still lets light in, but you just can't look through it anymore. And so to apply it, you're supposed to use a mixture of like soap and water. And so I spritzed it down with that in the first spray bottle I had. So this one's just water because somebody's a punk. I think we all know this. Yesterday, when I was going to fair, I spent 20 seconds brushing my hair. And in that amount of time, I have this leather crown thing. It goes like this, and then it's got elastic that goes under the back side of my head. It's a headband kind of thing. He had chewed through the elastic in 20 seconds that I went to brush my hair. So the first thing I had to do after getting a cone of cookies, because I mean, I was at fair, was to go to the booth where I purchased said leather crown like 5, 8 years ago and get a new elastic installed. So thank you to Tiger for fixing that for me because somebody that we all know and maybe love is a punk. So, I mean, the only thing he's ever thrown up is hair elastics. I don't know why he is obsessed with chewing on them. I guess it's a texture thing, but I don't know what I can offer him that's similar that won't like completely mess up his digestive tract. So the struggle is real. What you gonna do? Well, we have 15 minutes left. What do you say we do a short 10-minute sprint and then figure out dinner? I'm going to assume that resounding silence means yes. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to the stream and let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And we're done. So, how was your sprint? Thank you for blessing me. This cold. Maybe it's fall allergies. One of the two. My little niece actually has a rhinovirus right now, or yeah, a cold, and has been fighting a fever this week. I'm hoping she feels better soon and lets her parents get some sleep. The poor little one. So, how was your sprint? How did you do? I got through 2 more pages and I think wrapped up my discussion with my beta reader, who is enjoying some parts of my story and thinks others are maybe a little too forced. So definitely some good brainstorming there. Although one of the things he thinks I should cut, another writer really enjoyed, or reader, sorry. So, opinions may vary, and that's why I like to get a cross section of opinions. So, how was your sprint? What did you get done? As you may have noticed, nobody leapt at my head that sprint, so winning. And hopefully Sako's ritual is going to go nicely. So I think this chapter is almost there. I still have one more section I want to tweak a little, because motivations have shifted slightly. So I will definitely try to make sure that is clear without overstating it, because I'm sure you've noticed occasionally when you go in to make something clear, you do it in 4 spots when you only needed it in 2 spots, and then you pick which spot works best and you roll with that. So Debbie wrote a plot point down and grabbed some food and ate it, which is indeed my next act. I do know, for those who are Jewish, Happy New Year in like an hour. I might not be Jewish, but I do enjoy apples and honey and cheese. So I might partake of that tonight. I don't know anything else. Let's see. Next week, I will be at Capclave, and I will be, let's see, talking about things like toxic productivity, something clearly I know nothing about. I will be talking about grammar wars and pedantry, talking about my favorite grammar points and ones I think are overdone. I think the war on commas is too strong, and that authors should be allowed to influence the pacing of the reading of a sentence. I will be talking about promoting your work using social media, and I will be talking about what's in a name, talking about the use of pen names and that sort of thing. So that's where I'm going to be next week, and I should make it back in time for my regular live stream, but we will see. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. If you wanted to check out my post this week, I was sharing my notes from Worldcon with some really quality agents and publishers about publishing as collaboration, talking about the level of professionalism and what you should expect out of an agent. This week's author spotlight guest was Cassie Grootman, who writes fantasy. And over on the podcast, Writing Tips and Writerly Musings, this week was, Down the Rabbit Hole, The Appeal of Portal Fantasy. Which, obviously I have feels. I enjoy Portal Fantasy, although I haven't written one. I prefer to be in the world rather than exploring the world. So that's just how I roll. That doesn't mean I won't write a Portal Fantasy at some point, though. So yeah. Thank you all for joining me. As always, I will be back again next week to hang out with y'all. And in the meantime, you can find I'll be, podcasting on Monday and vlogging on Thursday. So have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your September, and I will see you next week for Preptober. See you then. Bye.